Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Shirley Joe. I am the National Esthetician for Evan Healy. We are an organic, beautiful, very simple skincare line from California. And I just wanted to kind of introduce, how this company came about and who we are and what makes us special and what makes us different. I can see some of you, and if you do have your kits with you and you are ready to go, just go ahead and wave. Yay. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't know how many of you have already been using Evan Healy products, but we'll go ahead and just do a little brief overview for those of you who want to know more. Let's start off with Evan Healy herself. Who is Evan Healy? Evan Healy is an actual person. She's a holistic esthetician. She started this company about 20 years ago. She was in California working in her father's health food store. And at that time, there weren't too many actual beautiful clean skincare products on the shelves. It was very minimal. It's not like how it is now. There was Dr. Hauschka, which sort of was a pioneer in really clean whole plant ingredients. And so she fell in love with that brand and she went to Germany and studied Dr. Hauschka's methods, and she became a certified holistic esthetician. She went to school for that. And she learned about how the rhythms of nature affect our skin. And she studied homeopathy and aromatherapy and Ayurveda and many other modalities from around the world that really shaped the way that she wanted to approach skincare in her practice. She opened up a private practice in Southern California, and she began working with clients and implementing these modalities that she learned from around the world. And one thing she noticed was that a lot of people were having a lot of skin issues at that time around skincare issues that had to do with over exfoliation. So in that era and time, in the early 90s, late 80s, people were really getting into doing glycolic peels, acid peels, and those sorts of things to really create a youthful look. And while it did stimulate collagen and elastin, the downside was that it really disrupted the skin barrier and really dissolved the skin layer. So the skin became very thin for many, many people. And once that happens, the skin then begins to get compromised and it can't hold up against disruptors. So a lot of you sort of open yourself up at that point to eczema and psoriasis and other inflammatory skin conditions, or just inflammation in the skin. The skin isn't able to maintain and hold moisture, and so it becomes very dry. So she was dealing a lot with clients that were suffering from these conditions that were brought about from overexfoliation. And so she began to look to the plants to find answers to help thicken and build up the skin. And so she first found wild Chilean rosehip seed oil, and then moved into shea butter and a lot of other different products from nature, ingredients from nature, to really help strengthen the skin and build it up. To help her clients. So this company, these products were born out of the desire to help people strengthen their skin and really provide real nutrition for the skin and to repair and help it recover. So that's sort of the premise. And then she met a man by the name of David Gordon, who is a businessman, and they partnered together to create Evan Healy, the skincare line as we know it today. And they built a philosophy together that really centered around the ideas of purity and even beyond purity. Building relationships with communities around the world, sourcing ingredients wherever they sourced ingredients. They decided to build very strong relationships in a very holistic way with the stewards of the earth that were providing the ingredients. So for instance, when they began to source argan oil. They got involved with a women's cooperative that really helped to strengthen the community there and uplift their traditional values and the way that they process their own oils and the way that they've been doing it for thousands of years to honor their traditions around it. So that was very important to them. Also creating, products that do not have any parabens or GMOs, isolates, alcohol, synthetics, making these products extremely clean and organic and pure. For instance, our Chilean rosehip seed oil is pressed upon order. You cannot find fresher, cold pressed or wild Chilean rosehip seed oil. They also built relationships with for their relationships for our whipped shea butter. We have shea butter in a lot of our products, and that comes from Ghana, Africa, from Pure Sea Village. And there's another women's cooperative there that they really uplift and support. So these relationships are very important. And it's all about being holistic and truly holistic, in the sense that holistic really means everyone and every single aspect. Everybody that our company touches is then treated with respect and dignity. And so those relationships are very, very important, including the earth and, sustainable packaging. All of our products are in glass, as you may have noticed. So it's a very, very holistic company. Some other themes that are really important to Evan Healy are sort of trying to transform the idea of how we view our skin and how we view beauty. If you notice, we do not have a lot of rhetoric around anti-aging on our packaging. Evan Healy always likes to say that, she's just very tired of that conversation. It's not necessary, and anti-aging goes against nature. So we want to be in the rhythms of nature. We want to respect ourselves and where we're at, and sort of coming from this idea that who we are is enough, and that there's beauty, in imperfection, and that, this is the skin that we're born with, and we have this ongoing relationship with our skin. And as we age and as we go through life, this is still our skin. And we continue to have this ongoing relationship with our skin. And like any relationship, we want to honor that. We want to respect it and love it, and not, sort of be angry with it or unhappy with it all the time, or trying to fix it or change it, but we want to extend and nurture it, take care of it, and let it be the most beautiful thing that it can possibly be. So that's sort of the premise. And, although it's not on our packaging, we really have worked very hard to change or influence our perceptions of beauty and transform that idea. Is that, we're working with skincare, and we're in an industry where you'll notice so many it's always about anti-aging and, that we're not quite good enough the way that we are, but we are good enough the way that we are. We're just here to support and nurture ourselves. So we have whole plant ingredients. And one thing that really makes us amazing is that, and something that really makes us very different, is that we utilize the power of oil and water. So what does that mean? Well, it means that I'm going to get out these little products out of our kits. We use hydrosols, and these are pure plant therapy waters. They're distilled for their antioxidant and mineral-rich properties from the plant. And then we use nutrient-dense plant oil serums. So the way that we look at it is the skin has oil glands and sweat glands. And really understanding the way the skin works is that we secrete sweat and we secrete oil. And we want to mimic what is already there and just provide what your skin can completely recognize and understand. And so Evan Healy will mimic what is already there and just provide what your skin can completely recognize and understand. And so Evan Healy was, when she developed these products, she just realized that if we can give our skin something that it can utilize, something that makes sense to it, it's going to really help it become stronger and healthier. And it really will be able to utilize the entire thing versus something that was, oh, we'd look to labs and chemical isolates and different things, and sort of creating a product in a laboratory that has many different ingredients that you can't pronounce. And while our skin can actually receive those things and it can do something with them, like food, we can eat food that has been highly processed, but is it really as effective as an apple? If you were to go into a garden and grab fresh ingredients, your body can absorb that more than it can something that has just been highly processed. So thinking about our skin as our largest organ, and that it is not separated from our body, it's part of our body, and it works the same way as our organs do inside, and our whole body is connected. So treating the skin in that way, where you give it nutritious whole plant ingredients in its really singular forms, your skin can actually take it in and use it so much more, and that it can bring it back into balance and in a state of radiance and health by giving it something that it can understand. So going back to this idea of oil and water, I'm going to actually grab a large hydrosol right here. So these hydrosols are the same pH balance as our sweat. They are distilled in the Columbia Valley in Washington State on small family organic farms. They are beautiful. The farms are beautiful. And that's where we grow all of our herbs for our hydrosols. So we have I would say about 13 different hydrosols that we use, 13 different plants. And all of the plants were picked for their anti-inflammatory and therapeutic qualities for the skin. So they're sort of like the all-star plants in the plant kingdom for the skin. And they're grown there in Washington, cut fresh and distilled in these hand-hammered copper pots, stills that were imported from Portugal, which is an ancient tradition of making hydrosols. And the copper is very specific to the distillation process, in the sense that it removes the unwanted sulfurs out of the hydrosols. So you're getting a very fresh, clean, aromatic scent. And the hydrosols are really neat the way that they're distilled. Through the distillation process, the water comes out into a huge vat, and then all of the essential oils rise to the surface, kind of like cream, and then they're skimmed off. And the way that we distill for the hydrosol. So the essential oils are really the byproduct, and those are taken off. And what's left behind is this highly therapeutic, mineralized, and antioxidant-rich water that really embodies the spirit of the plant. And when you spray it on your skin, like I said, it has the same pH balance. You're really addressing the sweat glands. You're addressing the water element in your skin. And if you've ever noticed, when you go to a very, very humid climate, maybe Hawaii or somewhere, your skin feels so much softer and plumper. And that is due to the water that's in the air. So hydration is extremely important to the skin. And Evan Healy recognized this early on, that most people who, I wouldn't say most, but many people who feel that their skin is very, very dry, a lot of times it's a hydration issue, or a combination of hydration and moisture deficiency. So this is going to address that hydration aspect in the skin, the sweat element of your skin, the water element. Now, we talk about the oil serums. We have oils, we have butters, and we have balms. They're all lipids, and that's what we sell. We specialize in nutrient-dense plant oil serums with these all-star nuts and seeds, butters that are, just absolutely amazing for the skin. And when you put this on your skin, what you're doing is you're addressing the oil element in your skin, so your sebaceous glands. And when you combine the two together, it really helps to harmonize and balance your skin. So what I wanted to do was kind of lead us through a little facial, an at-home facial. And I do understand everybody has a kit, and we have these two different rituals. We have the balancing ritual and we have the calming ritual. And I believe everyone has one, correct? Yep. All right. So this is just a very simple way that we have provided a guide for people to sort of navigate their skincare journey. And the balancing ritual is the one I'm going to start off with. This is really ideal for everything in a pink box here is for balancing the skin. And it's really ideal for very mature skin, dry skin, combination skin, oily skin. The question is, how can that be that it's good for combination skin, oily skin, and dry skin? And the answer to that is this really incredible adaptogenic plant called rose geranium. And that is what the hydrosol is in this kit. It's rose geranium facial hydrosol, and the serum rose hip treatment facial serum rose. Okay, so rose geranium is throughout this entire balancing line, and it's an adaptogenic herb. And what that means is that it helps to balance oil production in the skin. It helps to even out oil production. So if you're producing too much and you're oily, it's going to help to calm those sebaceous glands down. If you are dry and it's not producing enough, it's going to help to boost that. It's also really wonderful as a hormonal adaptogen, as a dermal adaptogen for hormonal imbalances in the skin from puberty through menopause. As women, we know that sometimes the hormones affect the skin. Rose geranium is a wonderful ally for helping to balance that as well. So this is like our great harmonizer and our great balancer. So it is really a wonderful kit. It's a wonderful treatment for pretty much anyone. So it's very adaptable. So what I'm going to do is show you, we have our rose cleansing milk. Our rose cleansing milk, if anybody who is using this one, you'll smell the aroma of this. It's just absolutely amazing. Our cleansers are all very, very gentle on the skin. Our cleansing milks are wonderful for drier skin. It's in a base of shea butter, kaolin clay, and rose, which is very humectant for the skin, and has gotu kola and some other really nourishing herbs. You don't need that much when you use this cleanser. It removes makeup, it removes impurities and sunscreen quite easily. You just need about this is our travel size. You're going to need a few pumps of this to cleanse your skin with lots of water. In the normal jar, you would just need about a half a pump of the larger size with lots of water. It tends to get overused because it smells so good and it's very luscious and luxurious. So now the base in our calming kit. Oh, wait, let me finish this. Let me finish the balancing kit. Okay, so that was the cleanser, the oil, and the water. And then we also have here our French rose clay. And this is Evan Healy's answer to exfoliation is clay. It's one of our pillars. We have oil, we have water, and we have clay. This is another thing that makes Evan Healy so special and different, are our incredible mineral-rich clays. Now, our skin, it tends to slow down as far as the cellular turnover as we age. And it's nice to be able to help that out. It's nice to be able to help those dead skin cells that are hanging on just sort of dissolve and fall off. And clay is so intelligent. It really just targets the skin cells that are dead, that are hanging on, and they just need that boost to kind of move over. It's not going to compromise the acid mantle. It will not strip the skin in any way. But what's amazing about clay is it's been used, for the millennia, for mineralizing the skin, for detoxifying it, and for purifying it. So it's wonderful at removing impurities, metabolic impurities, for helping to remove blackheads or clogged pores. And then it brings in minerals to the skin. And for those of you who are, aware of anything in health and wellness, minerals are a very big part of the way that we work is in our body. And they're sort of the building block for all of our health and wellness. So that's the same for the skin. If our skin is nice and mineralized, it can just function better. And these clays were picked out for their mineral contents. This French rose clay is high in silica, magnesium, and copper. And it's just beautiful. It's very easy to use. And we'll go through that when we go through our ritual. And then it also includes our Rose Vetiver Day Moisturizer. So we really focus a lot on a lot of oils and butters, but we do have traditional moisturizers, and a moisturizer is included in your kit. This is Rose Vetiver Moisturizer. It's very fresh and aromatic. It just creates a beautiful lipid barrier over the surface of the skin that we will apply over our oil and water ritual. However, it can be used by itself with a hydrosol. So that's our moisturizer, our day moisturizer. Now, our calming ritual is exactly the same way, the exact same thing as our balancing ritual. It's just the difference is the base is the same, but the therapeutics change. So when it comes to the cleanser, you're going to have blue lavender cleansing milk. So it's the same base, but the therapeutics are going to be blue chamomile and lavender. This whole ritual here is designed to calm and soothe very sensitive skin or inflammatory skin conditions. So for your more red, hot, irritated skin, this is going to be your wonderful ritual that's going to help calm and soothe inflammation. Or if your skin is just more on the sensitive and sun damaged side, this is going to be the ritual that you're going to choose. So like I said, the cleanser, the base is the same with that wonderful Gotu Kola and shea butter and kaolin clay, but the therapeutics are going to be your cooling and calming lavender and chamomile. And then the hydrosol that we're going to use for the calming ritual is lavender. And our lavender, just really quickly, the way that we distill this lavender is really special. We use the entire plant of lavender. We use the roots, the stems, the flower tips, all of it. We use freshly harvested lavender rather than using dried lavender. And the reason why we do that is because, similar to the beet, the entire plant is therapeutic for the skin. And it would be very wasteful and sad, really, to just take off the flower tips for their wonderful aroma and not utilize the stems and the leaves. But when you spray this on your face, you may notice a very different type of aroma that you're not quite used to with lavender. It has more of an herbal aroma, and that's because of the way that we do the distillation process and use the entire plant, because it's all very therapeutic to the skin. So for our serum, our oil serum, this is our wonderful rosehip facial serum, the same one, but the therapeutics are different in this. It's Immortelle. Again, it's the blue chamomile and lavender. So these are all very anti-inflammatory, very soothing and calming therapeutics. And then the clay that we use is our green tea clay. This has organic matcha tea, which is very, very high in antioxidants. And then our wonderful green tea clay, which comes from Italy and France. And it is a little bit more activating on the skin. It oxygenates the skin a little bit more than the French rose clay does in the balancing ritual. It's a little bit more, it's one that's going to make your skin work out a little bit more. So it could possibly leave your skin a little bit flushed and pink after you take it off. And that's perfectly normal. In fact, it's really good for your skin to kind of get that oxygenation and that boost. It's detoxifying to the skin and very healthy. So that's the green tea. clay. And then the moisturizer is the blue chamomile day moisturizer. Same base as the other one is the rose vetiver, but it does have that blue chamomile and lavender therapeutic added to it. So are you all ready to go through a little ritual? Do you have any questions this far? All good. Okay, great. So I am going to use for myself, I'm gonna go through using the balancing ritual, just so you all know. Has everybody already cleansed their face, or would you like to go through the cleansing ritual? What do you think, Irene? Oh, I can't hear you, Irene. I'm sorry.
I think I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. If you want to go ahead and cleanse, if anybody doesn't want to cleanse, just put it in the chat box real quick, if you know where that is. And we can then just go right into the oil and water.
Okay.
But I think maybe if you just do a quick demonstration, even on the back of your hand.
Oh, sure. I'll do it on the back of my hand.
Okay, thank you.
I'm also going to clip back my hair. Okay.
I'm going to mute myself again.
Okay.
All right.
So with your travel size cleanser, you can begin to, if you're near a sink or you have a washcloth and a bowl of water, you can cleanse now, or you can save this step for later on when it's more convenient for you. But I'm just going to demonstrate how, I would take about this much cleanser, and this would be for your entire face. And you would use about this much, whether you have the travel size or the larger version. This is good enough. So like I was saying, it's very concentrated. You really don't need a lot. And really using a lot of water with it is key. It tends to really it doesn't lather up. There aren't any surfactants in it, so it's not going to yield bubbles, but there's a slight lathering effect that you'll notice from the yucca root. It smells amazing and it just leaves your skin really soft. In fact, my mom, she's not one to use a lot of products ever. She never has, but I gave her the rose cleansing milk and she has been using it ever since for years. And it's the only product that she'll use because she just doesn't like to use products, but she says it leaves her skin so silky and soft. She doesn't need anything. I don't agree. I'm constantly trying to get her to use more, but to each their own. But at least she uses the cleansing milk. Okay, so after you cleanse your skin, and my skin has already been cleansed, so I'm going to go right into the oil and water ritual, which is your next step. So now you're going to take out your beautiful little travel size hydrosol, and you're going to take your travel size facial serum. And while I go through this, I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about this rose hip facial treatment serum. I'm using the rose. You can take out whichever one you're using. And just so you know, rose hip seed, where we get ours is in Chile. It's grown wild, so it's organic and pure. And like I said, cold pressed, fresh upon order. And it is considered a dry oil, so it's wonderful for people who've never really used oils before. It's rich in trans-retinoic acid, which is the precursor to vitamin A. So it yields a very incredible results on the skin as far as helping with sun damage, hyperpigmentation, scarring. And it works kind of like a retin-A, but the cells absorb it and then convert it into the retin-A in the cells. So you're not going to get that topical irritation or photosensitivity. It's going to be a lot easier for your skin to utilize, and it's going to be slower, the process of it, than using a topical retin-A. So you're going to take a couple drops. You're just going to hit the back of that bottle like that in order to get out your serum. And then you're going to take your hydrosol and you're just going to spray into the palm of your hand about 5 to 7 sprays. And then you're going to emulsify. And when I say emulsify, I mean, just rub it together. And our ritual, the reason why we put ritual on the box is because we really want this to be a ritual for you. We want you to slow down and calm your nervous system and create a moment for yourself in your busy day in your lives. Carve out this moment where you do your Evan Healy ritual. And believe me, it really makes a difference. This is treating your body in a holistic way and not just getting something on. It's about being present in the moment and appreciating this. So we slow down, take a nice inhalation and just exhale. And now we simply press into our skin. Knowing that you're giving your skin in this moment everything it needs and what it can recognize so easily and what it can utilize. Hydrosol and therapeutic plant oils, sweat and oil. So now the way that I did this, like I feel that my skin is dewy, it's soft, it's moisturized, it feels really refreshed. I feel really refreshed. What I like to do though is take a little bit more hydrosol and just inhale and exhale. The more hydrosol you use, the more that your oils are going to become anchored into the skin. So it's really important whether you're using a moisturizer, an oil serum, or say a shea butter or another occlusive, is to use a hydrosol. So the hydrosol is like the missing link. It's a tool, really, if you think about it. So as long as you're pairing any of those lipids with a hydrosol, you'll be golden. Now, the hydrosol is wonderful too, because if you say you don't really like necessarily to have a heavy feeling on the skin, some people love to have that unctuous, very creamy, nectarous feel on the skin. And other people don't really want to have much of a feel on it. They want to just have a drier finish. And the more hydrosol you use, the more that the oils will get anchored in and you'll have more of a dry feel. So the more hydrosol you use. So I just wanted to let you know in case you wanted to customize it to how you like it. I like to use a lot of hydrosol personally. I feel like I like to drink a lot of water. I really like water. So I want to get really quenched and I want to drive and anchor those oils into my skin a little bit more. So now that we've done that, I just wanted to show you, what that's all about. Now we can add on top, we can add our moisturizer. So I will use this moisturizer on the top of my oil and water ritual in the winter mostly, and in the fall when I feel like my skin is extra dry and I need that barrier to protect from the environment. I will use shea butter sometimes, or I will use the moisturizer, but you really don't need that much. Most people don't. If your skin is very dry, you might need a little bit more, but really just a little dollop. Now, if I could, I really did it because my fingers are, my fingers are a little bit slippery and I can't seem to open this. So I wanted to just lead you through the ritual of cleansing and putting on your moisturizers. However, here we go. So you're just going to take about this much. You might need 2 fingers, depending on what your needs are as far as a moisturizer. But I'll put in 2 little fingertips right here and just rub together. And then you can just go ahead and put it over the top. It feels so fresh and so amazing. So that's your ritual right there, on a daily basis. Now, let's talk about clay. If you want to do if a clay mask, we suggest doing it weekly. This is going to really help your skin stay really strong. It's going to mineralize it, and it's going to exfoliate it. The clay is really amazing because it's so gentle. It's so interesting because a lot of people feel a little, well, sometimes people look at me kind of like, I don't know if I can handle using clay, like, this glass jar full of what they feel like is dirt, but it isn't dirt. It is amazing clay. And didn't realize these were taped so tightly. Good job, Evan Healy, keeping them nice. They're really easy to use, astonishingly easy to use, and very clean. They're not messy. So here's your clay. You can see the texture of it. I don't know if any of you are opening up yours, but this is the rose clay, the French rose clay. So rich in silica, so amazing. It makes your skin so radiant. I highly suggest incorporating a clay mask into your ritual. So what I do is I have a little bowl. You do not have to use a bowl. You can most certainly use the palm of your hand. You can use a brush. I'm just going to use my fingers today to show you. So I'm just going to do my hands because I know that probably a lot of you don't necessarily have a clay bowl or a bowl. You don't have to use clay, but a bowl and a brush. So I just want to show you how you can use it in the palm of your hand. So I have about maybe half a teaspoon. You can use a quarter of a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon. You do not have to use a lot for it to be effective. It is very effective even in smaller amounts. And you're going to take your hydrosol and spray directly into the palm of your hand, about 5 to 7 pumps again, and simply mix it up just like this, cradling it in the palm of your hand. If you have a brush, wonderful. If you have a bowl, wonderful. Now, I like to apply it to my skin. This would be after you cleanse, okay? You can indeed put it over your oil and water ritual if you want to. It will make your skin, it's less drying on the skin. If you do use an oil with it, you can add an oil serum to your mix, or you can put it on first. It will not it won't compromise anything as far as the effectiveness. It'll still be extremely effective with oil added to it. It's just more therapeutic and it's less drying on the skin. But sometimes you might want to have the clay be a little bit more pulling if you happen to have oilier skin or more congestion in the skin or impurities, because it will pull in a stronger way by not adding oils. Either way, it's very effective. So do you see how thin this is on my skin? It's almost translucent. You can actually see my skin through it. You can bring it down onto your neck, your chest. A really good way to do this is right before you jump in the shower. Generally, that's when I do my clays. But you can most certainly rinse it off in the sink really easily. It's not messy, like I said, or you can use a washcloth to remove it. So, people always wonder how long to keep the clay on their face. Really, as soon as it's dry, it's done its job. It's activated. It is completely, it's done its job once it dries. That's all there is to it. You can leave it on longer, but it's not necessary. So oftentimes that just takes a couple minutes, and voila, you're done. And you've exfoliated, mineralized, softened, removed impurities. This is really wonderful for the spring to do this, as our bodies just tend to want to cleanse in the spring, detoxify in the spring. But I do use clay year round. I'm pretty I'm pretty religious about using it weekly. So I have found my skin to just become healthier and more vibrant by incorporating clay masks into my rituals. So like I said, if I used the green clay, when I remove it, my skin might flush up a little bit and become more oxygenated. The rose clay is like our date night clay. You will not have any kind of redness from removing it. Your skin will just feel softer and more radiant. So mine is still drying a little bit. Even though I do have that oil and water and moisturizer on underneath, it's drying up quite nicely. You can add shea butter to your masks. You can add oil serums. I even sometimes use my clay and put a little bit into my cleanser and mix it up and use it that way. So it's really versatile. And these products are meant to be versatile. They're meant to be playful and tactile. And you want to think of them as ingredients from nature. Like in your kitchen, when you use lots of ingredients from nature, you mix and match, and there's no real hard and fast rules. There are some, in nature, but with these particular ingredients from nature, they can be mixed and they can be matched, and don't feel like you have to stay within the balancing ritual or the calming ritual. This is simply to be a guide for you. You can mix and match them. So let's say you go to the store and you try them, or you feel drawn to rose geranium hydrosol, but you want to use the blue cleanser, that's perfectly fine. The most important thing is that you use them and use plenty of hydrosol. One thing about the clay I will tell you is that, we use the clay dry like this. We keep it dry in a jar rather than adding liquids to it and putting it in a tube that's more convenient that you could squeeze out. And it's all by design, because once you get clay wet, it activates, it becomes alive, it charges up. And if we were to put the water in it and put it and make it more convenient, and the oils and everything is squeezed out, it would kind of be like juicing and then pasteurizing and putting it in on the shelf. It doesn't have that same potency as doing fresh. And so this is your fresh clay. It will be activated as soon as you get it wet. It is just absolutely amazing. Plus, it will last so long. For the people who have bought the clay masks in a jar, it can last for a very, very long time, and it doesn't go bad because it's just clay. So at this point, I'm about ready to remove. Has anyone else actually put on the clay? No. Okay. Well, this is good. As long as you're learning, and then you can do this at any time.
We did the clay. We both did the clay.
Oh, you both did the clay. Oh, good. Which one are you using?
He has the green tea and I have the French rose.
Yay. Awesome. So is your clay mask dry now? Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to remove it now? Do you want to go ahead and remove it now? Or do you want to? Okay. I'm just going to stop the video for a second, and I'm going to pull my water over here. Just one quick sec, and you can get your water as well. Okay. This is so fun. We're having a spa day. Okay, so my washcloth is warm. It's not hot. I don't like hot water on the skin. I like warm water. It's easier. Plus, I have a tendency to, I'm a little bit rosacea prone, so I have cooler temperatures on a general basis. So now what you're going to want to do is just hold. It's amazing how easy this comes off. And now I know I'm removing metabolic impurities. I'm removing toxins and dead skin cells. And I have mineralized my skin. Voila, that was so easy. It is the easiest thing in the world. It seems so counterintuitive. Like it seems like it would it would be residual clay, or it would be really hard to remove, but it's so easy. Now you can make a thicker clay if you want. That will be a little bit harder to remove, obviously, the more you put on. But even that is very easy to remove when you do a thicker clay. And the purpose of doing a thicker clay, like I said, would be more if you have more congestion in your skin. And maybe if you don't do a clay mask very often, you really want to go for it, you know, but I do weekly masks. So I just do a nice thin wash, and it works wonderfully. So any questions about the clay? Not necessarily. Okay. So after you remove your clay mask, you're going to want to take your hydrosol again and spray. Now, one step I didn't do was you can hydrate your clay mask after it dries on the skin with hydrosol to make it easier to remove. I didn't do that, but know that you can do that, and it will help to kind of rehydrate the clay and make it easier to remove. I have such an easy time removing it that I kind of skip that step to save my hydrosol. Okay, so I have added my hydrosol back into my skin. And so those days that you want to do your clay mask, this is kind of how you're going to go about it again. I'm going to take more of my oil serum. This time I'm going to use the blue. And again, you're just going to tap on the back of that bottle until you get about this much. It's like very little. In a regular size serum, which I will grab, you really would only want to do on a regular size, you really would only want to do 2 pumps of this. Okay. So that's just to kind of help you keep it in perspective. When you buy an actual regular size, 2 pumps is all you need. With these, you're going to have to hit it about I would say about six taps on the back to get the amount that you need. Because it just comes out in such a small dose. And then our 5 to 7 sprays of hydrosol. Again, we're going to emulsify. And slow down. Oh, you guys, this just feels so good. It never gets old. Okay, so I am feeling really good. Now, the only thing is I'm going to put on some moisturizer on the top. Again, I don't need a lot. You'll get used to the simplicity of it. You'll get used to the ritual, and you will become, you'll just love the way it feels. You'll love the way that your skin feels, and the way your skin reacts, and the way your skin comes into balance and is the best version of it that it could possibly be with these beautiful plant allies that we have. So does anyone have any questions? I'm gonna turn this off. Well, I do hope that you all do use your Evan Healy rituals, and I'd love to hear about how they work for you. We do have some great resources on our website on evanhealy.com if you want to look at some of the footage, the videos around how the hydrosols are distilled, or our beautiful partnerships and relationships around the world where we get our beautiful oils and butters and clays. And also we have a resource on Facebook called Evan Healy Sanctuary. It's a private member group where we answer lots of questions. So if you do purchase products and you have questions, one of our holistic estheticians will pop on and answer questions for you. It's just a really safe place to talk about skin issues or concerns. We also have complimentary skincare consultations, skin consultations that you can book through the website if you want to have a private consultation one-on-one with myself or another holistic esthetician that works for the company to help you navigate which products would be best for you. That's something we offer all of our customers. And then on Instagram, if you happen to be on Instagram, it's at Evan Healy. So those are just some resources for you in case you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Say that. You're so welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Irene, and the library and everybody for joining.
Thank you. Allison, would you like to talk about the apothecary a little bit?
Yeah, I do carry Evan Healy Skincare at the apothecary. And if anybody has any questions in person, you're welcome to stop in and I'm happy to answer your questions, along with obviously the expert resources at Evan Healy that Shirley just mentioned. And then I am happy to offer 15% off of Evan Healy products through the end of the month. So if you try something in your kit that you absolutely love and hopefully want to make it part of your skincare routine, just come in. And there are additional products too that I'm happy to show you in the line. But yes, Shirley, thank you so much for all of your knowledge and expertise. And thank you, Evan Healy, for your generosity with this event.